Hey, this is Jim. It's 10:44 a.m. in San Francisco, California on August the 12th. Please note that all discussions, analysis, and information presented are for general informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial or any other form of professional advice. So I'm going to post 3 or more videos today. This first one, I'm just going to cover Judge Zurn's memorandum opinion that was released Friday afternoon. There's one section of it that has my attention, and keep in mind, everything that I'm viewing, I'm trying to view against the backdrop of my model, which is strictly based on tracking the elephant's footprints, whether we're talking about behavioral analysis of markets or the anemoy terminal. And because I have these zones of strength in the future, and because we closed so well on Friday, right at the anemoy month weekly trigger, that's gone a long way in repairing the broken spine of the patient here that we're trying to heal. So if you guys have followed me for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, I've consistently talked about the fact that we just need to make some incremental upside price progress in ticker symbol AMC in order to repair the patient's broken spine. We did that with that move up into Friday's close. And what that did was that provided a situation where as we move into next Monday morning's trading, we no longer have weekly velocity pushing down on top of us as hard. We've still got the negative monthly velocity, but if we can continue to make upside progress toward the end of August, toward that 1139 monthly trigger, then we'll also be in a position to sort of eliminate / pancake the monthly velocity and then flip it as we move into September, October, November. And at that point, we'd be in a good position to trade up to, whatever levels to the upside. But for the time being, things have kind of progressed like we thought they would, meaning we're slowly repairing the patient. Now, if the stock's going to continue to track my model, then it means that despite Judge Zurn's memorandum opinion released on Friday after the close, that something will cause this to continue to slow walk before the actual reverse split takes place, if it does take place. So here's what I said on Friday on Twitter, in case you don't follow me. Something looks completely manipulated and corrupt and wrong about this price action, meaning after hours. And I said I would not be surprised if AMC, I said that wrong, if AMC opens higher on Monday, meaning that we rewind all of this negative price action after hours Friday. Now, once I saw the price action, and I also know the setup that's sitting on the board right now for AMC, moving into the next 2-3 weeks of trading action, it made me want to dive a little bit into this document, which I usually don't do, to try to look and see if there's anything that jumps out at me as far as allowing appeal or a little bit of a delay in a reverse split if it were to happen. So I immediately started to focus on the bottom of page 102 and this particular sentence here. Judge Zurn says, nevertheless, for the sake of ensuring the parties can perform the settlement obligations in a prompt manner, I assume for purposes of this analysis that Izzo would file an interlocutory appeal and would meet the requirements of this court and the Delaware Supreme Court for the appeal. Okay? So to me, that's important. And then what the judge says, which I think is sort of a cover your ass type statement, because the fact that she waited until after the earnings release to release this memorandum opinion tells me that she wanted to see if Adam Aron was being disingenuous about his panicked statements about imminent bankruptcy for AMC, or if it was a strong arm tactic to rush through this 1-for-10 reverse split. So once she saw the earnings and she knows how much cash the company has sitting on the books, if I were her, I would want to cover my ass and make it abundantly clear that I'm aware that Adam Aron was being was misleading in what he said. So then she says, Izzo has not filed an appeal, interlocutory or otherwise. So under most circumstances, her motion for a stay pending appeal would not be ripe. But this is under most circumstances. This is very key, the way she first laid out what she laid out up here, saying that she would assume that Izzo's lawyer would move forward with an appeal. And then she says, under most circumstances, it wouldn't be ripe. But then here's where she gives the shot across the bow to Adam Aron, in my opinion. You guys tell me in the comments if you think I'm reading too much into this. On July 26th, the defendants submitted a letter expressing a need to consummate the reverse split and conversion as quickly as possible so that the company can raise additional capital through the sale of common stock. Okay, so in other words, he's not just asking for permission to do this. He's saying, I want to not only have permission to do this, but I want to hit the ground running and raise money as quickly as possible, meaning dilute AMC common. That letter also stated that the company was required to give 10 days notice to the New York Stock Exchange, which is true, this is a rule, before effecting the reverse stock split and conversion, and that the company has a financial need to sell additional stock before the last 2 weeks of August, as those weeks are a historically quiet period in the financial markets. All of this is complete bullshit and disingenuous as hell. And, Adam Aron is, I would use the L word. She knows this. She's smart enough to know this. And even if she is sort of in on what's going on behind the scenes, meaning if I'm correct in that this whole thing has been a controlled demolition set up to allow the shorts to cover the systemically risky portion of their bad bet. They made a bet the company was going out of business, and unexpectedly a bunch of retail investors came in and saved the company. But what they needed to do was get this stock back down into the $1.75 to $3.25 range to allow the shorts that had made the bad bets to cover at least enough of that bad bet to take the systemically risky portion of the short off the table. That's what I believe has gone on from the very beginning. And the more I see things play out, the more convinced I am that I was right all along. To me, it's just common sense. You don't see all the different coincidences that have all disadvantaged retail investors, the people who bailed Adam Aron and the company in its existing form out. And make no mistake, this company would have existed in some way, shape, or form down the road with or without our help. Anyway, to me, this is very important, because what this is saying is she is going out of her way to remind Adam Aron in writing how disingenuous he was with what he said to her. So the other part of this that's completely disingenuous on Adam's part is that, on July 26th, the defendant submitted a letter expressing the need to consummate the reverse split and conversion as quickly as possible, okay? And again, acting like they're in imminent risk of going out of business. Well, Mission Impossible was released on July 12. Barbie and Oppenheimer were both released on July 21st. So all three of those films had major momentum prior to this disingenuous BS that Adam Aron or his legal counsel submitted to Judge Zurn's court. And so, again, this is, that letter also stated that the company was required to give 10 days notice to the New York Stock Exchange before effecting the reverse stock split and conversion, which is true. And the company has financial need to sell additional stock before the last 2 weeks of August. Okay, well, do the math. So if we pull up the calendar and we say, okay, Adam Aaron saying he needs to do it before the last 2 weeks. Let's see, before the last 2 weeks of August. Okay, so he's saying he needs to raise money prior to this section, and he needs 10 days for the New York Stock Exchange to allow him to affect the reverse stock split and conversion. Well, I don't know if that's 10 calendar days or 10 market days. Let's assume it's 10 calendar days. So he was telling her, again, let's eliminate the last 2 weeks of August. So he was basically telling her that he wanted to be able to do the reverse split and conversion on no later than August the 18th. So now let's go back 10 days. Let's assume calendar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he was looking for something from her on the 9th. She gave it to him after hours on the 11th. So Adam Aaron's not going to make, under any circumstances, whether it's 10 market days or 10 calendar days, his goal of a reverse split during the month of August. So we carry into September for sure, unless he decides to break the rules of the New York Stock Exchange, which will be even harder to do now because he's the one that told her in a letter. The letter stated that the company was required to give 10 days notice to the New York Stock Exchange. Now, if Adam Aaron gave the notice already, which would be very interesting, in other words, somehow he knew that Judge Zurn was going to come out with this, what she said here in the memorandum opinion Friday after the close, then I guess he could have filed with the New York Stock Exchange already. I don't know if that's public information. I guess we can go poke around. I don't know where we would go to look at that, if it's an SEC filing or if it's information that would reside at the New York Stock Exchange. So I don't know if that will become public information. And if it does, if it is required to be public, to be made public, then I don't know if Adam Aaron is even allowed to sort of front run the judge's decision, you know, optimistically front run the decision or otherwise. But I would say, based on everything that I'm seeing here, there's very little chance that Adam Aaron can pull off his reverse split during the month of August. And then obviously, if Izzo files an appeal, you know, then we're talking about, you know, I'm not sure how much longer that delays conversion. I'll wrap up with a view of this chart, and I'm probably going to do an individual video covering this as well, but this is the 25 tick. This is called a 25 tick bar chart, meaning that instead of being time-based, like a 1 minute of trading activity or 5 minutes of trading activity contained in a single bar, it's 25 ticks of trading activity. As soon as the 25 ticks of trading activity take place, the bar closes and it moves to the next bar. You trade another 25 ticks and so on and so forth. So you guys can see this is the 4 p.m. Eastern time close of the market, of the market and of AMC, obviously. And then this represents after hours trading. There was a little spike to the upside at 4:28 and 25 seconds. Then we started to move down, and really the last little spike up before the collapse happened at 4:33 and 44 seconds. And then you break down rapidly and drop all the way down to a low at $3.48, which was posted into 4:34 and 28 seconds Eastern time. What's interesting to me is this move up that's really not typical based on what I've seen throughout history of a sort of a stock arbitrage play. It's possible, I guess, that if someone was doing a stock arbitrage play, that they unwound it down here, and that's why it bounced to full 35%. But that was only 4 minutes of trading activity. So this is 4:34 and 28 seconds, and the bounce high was 4:38 and 10 seconds. And again, from $3.48 up to $4.73. So over 35% move. Super unusual. I don't know if that's a human interpreting something or AI interpreting something within Zurn's letter, and whether or not maybe it was spooked by, the paragraph that I just shared with you guys, meaning that, this is far from a done deal anytime soon. And that, we're talking weeks before Adam Aaron would be able to do the reverse split that, based on history, usually pummels the stock to the downside. So this was one of the reasons, along with the setup in my intraday model, that I told everyone in that original tweet I wouldn't be surprised if AMC ends up right back where it closed Friday as we open, the trading activity on Monday morning, or early in the session. I wouldn't be surprised at all. If you think about it, from this low to this bounce high at 473, you're only 50 cents away at that point from where the stock AMC closed on Friday afternoon. So to me, there's just something really unusual about that. And it might be meaningful as we move forward. But just so that you can see, this is sort of the way the 25 tick trading activity ended up as the session continued. So it ended. Let's see if we'll consider that to be firm compared to where we were. I mean, you can see that move back up toward $4 off of that sort of consolidation low. So you had the absolute low that moved to the upside. I'll give you just a frame of reference here. So the absolute low looks like this. I'll mark that in yellow. Absolute low looks like that. The stock moves down off of that pump high to this level, so, off the low still by, 20 cents, something like that. Moves all the way up to $4, I believe. Yeah, $4.02, and then sort of drifts in this range, challenges the $4 level again, and then closes at $3.93. But it was right, there at $4 again, just prior to about 10 minutes before the close, I guess that is, the after hours close. So that's the way the stock sort of, traded at this granular 25 tick level after hours. I'm going to post a couple more videos today because, as I said, there's nothing in my work that I've seen that's been affected by Judge Zurn's announcement after the close on Friday. In other words, it still looks to me like we can be trading AMC back up at $11, $12 during the month of August. And if that's the case, and we are trading back up to $11, $12 toward the end of August, that will completely repair the negative monthly velocity in the anemoy terminal and set the stock up to make a run at the old all-time high during September, October, November, December. So at some point during 2023 calendar year. Now, that would depend on a slow walk of this reverse split, or somehow it being, delayed, for an extended period of time. I'd have to take a really hard look at everything. If he pulls off the reverse split, especially at a 1 for 10, which is just brutal, I'll have to take a real hard look at things to see if my model's saying that there's any shot at challenging the old all-time high during the year 2023. If it turns out that that's not the case, then it would end up, based on the data I already have on the board right now, it would end up looking like 2024, 2026 before the stock could, based on fundamentals, could be back up at the pre-split all-time high. That's it for this one. I will post 2 more videos today. There'll be a little bit more nuts and bolts, market data related. This is my only post that I'm going to do related to Judge Zurn's memorandum opinion. That's it.